The question.
Yes.
All the things that have happened in the past, all the, say, disasters, the Holocaust,
yes,
the things that are happening to our species and this planet where they're becoming what we call extinct and everything.
Yes.
I know it used to really bother me a lot when I would think about the baby seals or something. How could someone with a conscience do something like that and everything? Yes. I'm just setting this up to ask this question.
Yes.
What really kind of made it easier for me to accept is I've heard two different teachers say that everything that's happened up until this point is exactly the way it was supposed to have happened.
Well, in a sense.
And I want to know if that's how true that is.
Well, all right, let's put it this way. Everything is a choice. You can always use anything that has happened to a positive effect if you're willing to learn from it. But do understand this. Even though we are not talking about good and bad, good and evil in a subjective sense, but are talking about positive integrative energy, negative segregative energy in a mechanical sense, there is still positive and negative action. In the idea that someone might force upon someone else, no matter what being they may be, a seal, a tree, a rock, the fact that they may force upon someone else that which does not necessarily serve them in a positive way to the best of all concerned, doesn't necessarily have to be recognized as, well, that was just supposed to happen. The idea is that there are no accidents, yes. And the idea is that all individuals, including the animals, are willing to participate in certain interactions and activities because they recognize that doing that and being willing to participate in its own death in that way can trigger and generate in others things that they might be able to learn about whether or not they want such things to continue to happen on their planet or not. So there's no judgment in that, and in that sense you could say everyone was a willing participant on some level. But even then you can take it to the level of saying sometimes some things will occur, if only to get you to realize you may or may not want that to occur on your planet ever again. That may have been its purpose. And in that sense, it served a purpose and wasn't an accident. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Does that answer your question specifically enough?
Yeah.
Or is there still some clarification that may be required?
Some clarification. No, it makes me wonder, is our planet evolving naturally? I mean, what's happening to our environment and everything, is it the way it's supposed to be going? You know, like with the indigo child.
Well, when you say supposed to be, what does that imply?
Well, in the natural way. I mean, before man and industrial revolution and everything, things, you know, changed. You know, whatever happened to our dinosaurs and everything was a reason.
All right.
So.
Let me put it this way. Obviously, your civilization could be and could have been more in harmony with creation. Yes?
Yes, definitely.
And in that sense, you could say, if you had chosen to do that, you could have accelerated your spiritual growth much more rapidly than you have. Yes?
Yes.
And in that sense, you could say it could have been that way, and that might have been more representational of a more natural way to be. Yes?
Yes.
At the same time, remember, reality is not this or that, it's this and that. Because everything is included within all that is. And even the dark side is a part of all that is and must be validated for what it is. Thus, then, the choice that your civilization has made to experience the degree of negative polarity that it has is still a choice and can still serve you. For the idea, to put it simply, coming into the light from such a degree of darkness is its own experience and is a very powerful, positive experience. If you can achieve balance from having come from such a degree of darkness, what does that say about how powerful you are as beings? So in that sense, you could say even all the darkness you have experienced is the way it was meant to be, because you can still always, at any moment, reclaim your true selves, and having come from the darkness, learn how to transform even that degree of darkness into that much light. And that is a valid experience from the perspective of all that is, to know itself even more than it did. And in that sense, you can recognize that there is nothing, whether you condone an action or not, whether you recognize it as something you prefer or not, whether you recognize it could have been another way or not, there is still nothing really that is outside of the sacred. You understand? All that is sacred. The dark and the light are sacred. How you use them, how you learn from them are sacred. So in that sense, everything that was meant to be, because you can always use it. At the same time, yes, you could have done it differently. But now you can make that choice to do it differently if you so prefer. And thus you will validate what has been and not, in a sense, waste it or discount it, because you will have learned from it, and it will propel you that much farther, that much faster, that much higher if you are willing to use it that way. And in that sense, you will allow it to be meant to be by using it in a constructive way. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.